O'clock. Time to reach for mobile water. Mobile water, unique in every way.
30 years of joyfulness. Hello, good afternoon, and welcome to the Midday News. The news is live on Joy 99.7 FM and hits 103.9 FM here in Accra, on Love 99.5 in Kumasi and myjoyonline.com. We're also live in all 16 regions of Ghana via various affiliates, live on X Spaces and Facebook. The Midday News is supported by Petrosol Platinum Energy, energizing dreams. This afternoon, the leadership style of former President Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, marked by perceptions of rigidity, single-minded decision-making, and a government dominated by family members, cited as a key factor in the NPP's disappointing performance in the Ashanti region during the last election.
The leadership style of President Nana Addo Dankwa, which people perceived as single-minded and intransigent. The perception that government was controlled by the family of President Akufo-Addo, the perception that the president single-handedly controlled the party.
We'll walk you through the Oseche Mensah-Bonsu-led fact-finding committee and the recommendations to the party. Also coming up, Deputy Roads Minister nominee proposes pension funds for road infrastructure amid budget constraints.
When I pick reports from Senate and I see that they are investing in luxurious hotels, I wonder if, moving forward, some of these funds cannot be used to support this very critical infrastructure needs of the country.
We're live in Parliament for the latest as the Appointments Committee vets him this afternoon. Also, opioid proliferation in Ghana may be more widespread than reported by BBC Africa Eye, as the Foods and Drugs Authority reveals its surveillance has led to the interception of large quantities of illicit drugs. Also, Ghana likely to face short-term supply disruptions and potential price hikes of cereals due to an import ban of the commodity by Burkina Faso. And Tail Ghana threatens strike over withdrawal of vehicle maintenance allowance for junior staff.
It means that we want to indicate that we are satisfying the requirement of Section 159 of the Labour Act, who talks about the intention to strike or lockout. That if we did not come this month, we will lay down our tools because we are satisfied the requirement to go on strike. We'll go on strike.
Also this afternoon we have sports.
The Ghana Premier League is set to resume on March 7 after a 5-week break.
These and more with me, Maame Esi Thompson. This is Joy News, independent, fearless and credible. Please stay. And this afternoon, the leadership style of former President Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, marked by perceptions of rigidity, single-minded decision-making, and a government dominated by family members, has been cited as a key factor in the NPP's disappointing performance in the Ashanti region during the last election. The mode of selecting the party's presidential, parliamentary, national, and regional executives is also blamed for the poor showing of the NPP in the region. This revelation comes from the findings of the fact-finding report led by Oseche Mensah-Bonsu. And member of our political desk, Elton Brobe, joins me in studio with more in this leaked report. Elton, who are the members of this committee? Let's start from there.
Right, so apart from the former majority leader Oseche Mensah-Bonsu, there's also Emelda Entry, William Opombio, Honorable Ben Abdallah, Rose Hamilton, and of course Oheneba Osudan. So they spoke to respondents from the 47 constituencies in the Ashanti region. They also extended their invitation and spoke to trotro and taxi drivers, market women traders, business men, washing bay attendants, Okada riders, Praga riders, youth groups, teachers, doctors, nurses, mechanics, and other artisans.
Oh, cool. Okay, so let's start also with former President Akufo-Addo and why the respondents partly blame him for the party's defeat.
According to the report on the leadership style of former President Akufo-Addo, 87% of the respondents asserted that the president was seen to be unmoved by public sentiments and concerns. Some stated that they found the president to be non-receptive to ideas and suggestions to the very issues that would have made 2024 election easier. Some of the responses, according to the report, said the first term of former President Akufo-Addo was very good. and that he was a listening president. However, in the second term, he appeared to have exhibited stiff neck, intransigence, and vindictiveness, among other traits, which did not augur well for the party's fortunes at the poll. It goes on to say that unanimously, respondents asserted that President Akufo-Addo's refusal to reshuffle ministers in his government was seen as a show of weakness of his leadership. His unmoved posture on the 20 reshuffle was seen because he involved his cousin, Mr. Kenufuriata, the then finance minister. The respondent expressed their disappointment in his second term leadership, with some emphatically stating that they regret offering him a whopping 95% in the presidential primaries of 2025.
Interesting. Well, the party's flag bearer, Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, is also mentioned in the report.
Well, the perception on Bawumia as a shadow of Akufo-Addo on whether or not the MPP flag bearer for election 2024, Dr. Bawumia, was seen as a shadow of President Akufo-Addo and therefore was going to be a mere puppet for President Akufo-Addo. 78% of respondents answered emphatically yes. Okay. They suggest that the posture of the president and his inner circle affected the sensibilities of Ghanaians. On the campaign trail, they observed that it was difficult for the presidential candidate, Dr. Bawumia, who was serving as vice president, the first of such a situation in the history of the MPP, to distance himself from his boss, President Akufo-Addo, and this rather made it difficult in terms of turning things around.
Okay. Well, does the selection of the party's candidates for various positions also come up?
The major cause of the party's poor performance, according to reports at the just ended 2024 presidential and parliamentary election, is a cancerous delegate system of selecting party delegates. This was made bare from the research conducted by the group. The current electoral college, according to them, must be radically reviewed. The expansion of the system to make it more inclusive is non-negotiable. The party's grassroots must own the system in order for them to protect it. This is what they are saying.
Well, thank you so much, Elton. But stay with me because we've been speaking to the chairman of the fact-finding committee, Osei Mensah Bonsu, who corroborates the findings in the report.
The research revealed the following as major causes of our defeat. Number one, the current delegate system of selecting party leaders. Including polling station, electoral area, constituency, regional and national offices, as well as parliamentary and presidential candidates, who will say the general economic hardship in the country during the period under review. It also means, and as I told you, or say the perception of corruption tag. The perception of corruption tag. No, say the leadership style of President Nana Addo Dankwa, which people perceived as single-minded and intransigent. Say the perception that government was controlled by the family of President Akufo-Addo, and the perception that the president single-handedly controlled the party. The perception that the candidate was a shadow of the president. So we're the vice president. In the say, the Akufo-Addo person wasn't here, and I say be a twabana, Emmanuel, Akufo-Addo reincarnate. Chapter 3.
And you are the chairman of the fact-finding committee, Osei Mensah Bonsu, speaking on our sister station in Shira FM. Well, Elton is still here. Elton, I strongly believe there were recommendations to the party.
In fact, there is, and the document concludes by saying that another presidential and parliamentary election is just ahead. In 2028, however, 4 years is a long time enough to put our house in order to reposition the party to recapture power. This requires deliberate and calculated measures to frontally deal with the challenges listed above. We can restore confidence and hope in our supporters and sympathizers by curing the apathy and monetization issues associated with the current system where delegates are voted, curing the internal structures defects and deficiencies of the party, providing assurance to the foot soldiers that future appointment and reward will be on commitment, hard work and merit, bridging the gap with our natural alliance and resolving existing conflict with dispatch and avoiding same. And they say that the NDC don't believe in rule of law, the MPP do. The NDC are socialists who do not believe in private enterprise, but they MPP do, but they can actualize on this if they're able to resolve their internal matters.
Indeed. Thank you so much. Elton Brobe is a member of our political desk, bringing us excerpts of that fact-finding committee that they brought about the findings of the defeat of the NPP. We have more on that extensive survey on Top Story and other bulletins coming up later on the Joy News channel and on Joy 99.7 FM. Moving on, Deputy Roads and Highways Minister nominee Alhassan Suhuyini has proposed channeling pension funds into road infrastructure projects to supplement severely low road budget, arguing that sustainable financing is critical for road development. Despite road networks being the backbone of economic growth, funding challenges has left many highways and urban roads in a state of disrepair. Mr. Suhuyini believes the pension funds will serve as a great alternative, ensuring long-term investment in quality road networks while leveraging pension funds for national infrastructure development.
I think that maybe we have to also begin to look at the investment portfolios of some of these our pension institutions. I think that, for example, when I pick reports from Senate and I see that they are investing in luxurious hotels and they are investing in some assets, I wonder if, moving forward, some of these funds cannot be used to support this very critical infrastructure needs of the country, and like we are talking about tolling and toll it over the years. I mean, for example, if you have an agency supporting the construction of a dual carriageway from Tamale, from Accra to say even Tamale, but let's even stop at Kumasi and toll and maybe have like 4 points of tolls. I mean, for a number of years, I'm sure that investment, because you see, pension funds, in my view, are to be invested in long-term instruments because people will go on pension after a number of years. So I think that that conversation should go on. I will be guided by the agenda of my minister for now, as far as the law allows for us to engage partners that will work with the road ministry to improve the road network in the country.
Well, let's head over to Parliament now and speak to my colleague James Aveji on the current situation. James, the minister designate has also been making comments about payments to road contractors. Tell us more.
Well, Maame, already we know that the road sector is burdened with over 120 billion Ghana cedis debt. For Alhassan Suhuyini, he did not provide a clear indication on whether he would advise for new contract to be put on hold until all these debts are cleared or otherwise. He rather deferred the decision to his substantive minister, Honorable Kwame Gavin-Sagboja, and says that whatever decision he takes, he would support him as a deputy minister.
I watched my minister's vetting. I rewatched it a couple of times. And I noticed the passion with which he spoke about the debts that the ministry currently have to deal with. Over 100 billion Ghana cedis of commitments and about 20 billion, Ghana cedis arrears that have to be paid. So when we speak of the volumes of construction that is going on, we also have to speak in terms of the debts that it has saddled the ministry and, for that matter, the nation with. But I am very convinced, and I have no doubt in the judgment of my minister, that having been given all the briefing and all the records of the ministry, he will take the decision that is most appropriate and in the best interest of Ghana and the people of Ghana. And I will support him to implement that. Thank you.
Well, James, what other key issues has he been commenting on?
Well, Maame, the issue about potholes have come up strongly, and his response has been that there is a department dedicated to that. The major problem he has noticed over the years is that funds allocated for resolving potholes issues on our highways have not been used for that purpose, and so he's advising that those funds being channeled into that as well. Just so you know, we've had indication that there's been a new addition. The Deputy Minister Designate for Tourism, Honorable Yusuf Jaja, has been added to the original 3 scheduled for today. And so we have 4 nominees on our list for today.
Thank you so much. James Aveji is in Parliament for us. Now, the Tertiary Education Workers Union of Ghana, TEWU Ghana, has threatened a nationwide strike over the withdrawal of car maintenance allowance for junior staff members initiated by the SWEL NPP administration. Local chairman at KNUST, Charles Arthur, says, contrary to early agreements, the Ghana Tertiary Education Commission, GTEC, has directed heads of tertiary institutions to withdraw the allowance. Nana Boachi Dankwa Yadom reports.
In August 2024, TEWU Ghana, GTEC, the Fair Wages and Salaries Commission, Ministry of Finance and other stakeholders agreed on the payment of vehicle maintenance allowance to junior staff at the tertiary level. The allowance was introduced to support junior staff members who use their personal vehicles for official duties. However, GTEC recently announced that it will be withdrawing the allowance as part of the austerity measures to reduce the public sector wage bill. The directive also raises concerns about eligibility of junior staff members who receive the allowance. But the KNUST chairman of TEWU Ghana, Charles Arthur, says the withdrawal of the vehicle maintenance allowance for junior staff is a breach of contract.
Our concerns now is that the letter that the GTEC has written is in bad faith because it's contrary to the directives of the Labour Commission. The car maintenance allowance is our entitlement. It's not a wholesale thing. It is only when you have applied for it, you are using it, you have applied for it, and you go through the procedure before you will be eligible to pay. It is unfortunate that something that we have agreed on with Fair Wages and Labor GTEC last year, because it is our conditions of service provision. And some universities were applying it, others were not applying it. So it was last year that we insisted that it must be applicable to every university. And then there was agreement to that effect with Labour Fair Wages and then GTEC. Minister of Finance issued approval letter to that effect. Implementation was started. There was no problem until they raised the issue of eligibility.
Charles Arthur argues the withdrawal of the allowance is unfair and will disproportionately affect junior staff members who are already struggling with low salaries.
We have instances where people have commercial vehicles, they are using it in performing their duties, yet they are not entitled to it, they are ineligible. Again, we also have people who also use car, they are junior staff, seniors, or whoever it is, you are using car and it is not in your name. You have not transferred ownership into your own sole name. You cannot make claims on it. So it is not a wholesale matter here. I'm saying that we have about 500 to 600 junior staff. Only 43 are eligible for it. So it's not a wholesale. And if they do not understand, they should come and then we explain to them so that they will understand. It's our condition of service provisions, and we will never allow anybody to take it off. No.
The union has given the government an ultimatum to pull back its directive, failing which they will withdraw their services.
We'll lay down our tools because we have written to all the stakeholders. Even though GTEC director did not give us a copy of the letter that he wrote for us to know his intention of stopping the allowance, for us in good faith, we have given them a copy. We have written and we have even given copies to the chief of staff. We have given copy to the Minister of Labour, Jobs and Employment, copies to Minister of Education, GTEC is a Vice Chancellor, Labour Commission, and other things. And it means that we want to indicate that we are satisfying the requirement of Section 159 of the Labour Act, who talks about the intention to strike or lockout. That if we did not come this month, we will lay down our tools because we are satisfied the requirement to go on strike. We'll go on strike.
For Joy News, Nana Boachi Dankwa Yadom, Kumasi.
The proliferation of opioids in Ghana may be far more extensive than previously reported by the BBC Africa Eye investigation. The Food and Drugs Authority has disclosed that its own surveillance has led to the interception of substantial quantities of unapproved opioids being illicitly trafficked into the country. A recent investigation by BBC uncovered the export of unapproved drugs containing tapentadol and carisoprodol by India's Avio Pharmaceuticals to West African countries, including Ghana. In the studio with me is Joy News editor Fred Smith with details of the FDA's response to the expose. Fred, what's the FDA saying regarding the awareness of the opiates in Ghana?
Well, the FDA affirms it has not registered tapentadol or carisoprodol as single ingredient drugs or approved tafradol. They are fixed dose combination for any medical use. Its Center for Import and Export Control has neither received nor processed import permits for tafradol or similar brands, deeming them unauthorized in Ghana. During the BBC Africa Eye investigation, the FDA confirmed these drugs are unapproved and illegal for importation. And despite ongoing enforcement, recent operations have uncovered various tramadol brands, including Trafanol, Tarapamol, and Trauma King in Tamale and other parts of Ghana.
Well, what actions have the authority taken so far?
The FDA reports seizing 287,000 units of tramadol, 8,576 units of Trafadol, and 2,053 units of Trauma King from border posts and unauthorized sellers. None had manufacturer details, and 6 individuals are currently facing prosecution for illegal opioids distribution.
Well, what's the FDA's stance on these pharmaceutical companies?
Well, it says that Samus Pharma, named in the BBC Africa Eye report, is a registered importer of injections and eye drops, but not from Avio Pharmaceuticals. However, 2022 to 2023 records show that Westfin International and Avio Pharmaceuticals exported products to Samus Pharma. Avio Pharmaceuticals received a GMP certificate in September 2024 after an April inspection and was contract manufacturing for Kumasi-based Masters Pharmaceuticals Limited, which it says applied to register 6 products. Following the BBC's findings on Avio's illegal opioid distribution, the FDA, it says, has suspended its GMP certificate, halted Masters Pharmaceuticals application, and barred Samus Pharma from using Westfin or Avio as exporters.
Thank you so much, Fred Smith. And you're still listening to the Midday News on Joy 99.7 FM. We'll take a quick break. When we return, Ghana is likely to face short-term supply disruptions and potential price hikes of cereals due to an import ban of the commodity by Burkina Faso.
Are you ready to get way more chances to win with
Where did I? Now I don't know many just are. Obiang, what's the chrome ha? Ain't the one to say petrol software energizing drinks for motion. Hey boy.
Petrosol are celebrating their 10 years in grand style. They're giving back to their loyal customers. Hope you have registered at their online portal. Don't say I didn't tell you, oh.
Each month, customers will stand a chance of winning items like tricycles, motorcycles, television sets, refrigerators, phones, fuel vouchers, and many more. But the best part is that at the end of the promo, we will be giving out a grand prize of 2 Suzuki Espresso cars to lucky winners who stay with us all through the promo period. All you need to join is to visit any of our over 100 stations across the country to get registered, or go to www.petrosolcrm.com to register online.
Petrosol, energizing dreams.
Hey, dear Niham Sa. Yes, taste of concentrate fabric softener. I was such it move. Yes, send this say, but you hear my tina watch. Nihian it's now watch. No, be a baby, some was some demoni in us say. Dear Niham say. Fair quiet, yes, sim beer association one tarry. Uses taste soft and Nihian it's now watch. Nani boss to tap from cry. A fabric softener. A year near says, sir. Choose to stay soft. No, so say, you know. FDID a dreading crowd to yatu.
Welcome back to the Midday News. We have sports.
The Ghana Premier League is set to return on Friday, March 7, according to the Ghana Football Association. The FA announced on Wednesday, February 26th, after 3 weeks of no action following the recent hooliganism attacks, which unfortunately ended in the demise of Francis Frimpong, a fan of Kumasi Asante Kotoko. The league's return, according to the FA, is subject to the safety and security assurance inspection of all venues currently being undertaken by the GFA and the Ministry for Sports and Recreation. As part of the league's resumption, the FA has also announced the fixtures for match day 20 that have been scheduled for Tuesday, March 18 to Thursday, March 20, and then match day 21 games will take place across the approved venues on Tuesday, April 1st to Thursday, April 3rd, with match day 22 fixtures slated for Tuesday, April 15 to Thursday, April 17. Kotoko's postponed MTN FA Cup tie against Sekendi 11 Wise. That game has been scheduled for the 12th of March 2025.
Thank you very much for sports. Now, Ghana is likely to face a short-term supply disruptions and potential price hikes of cereals and white beans due to an import ban from Burkina Faso. An alert statement issued by the Ministry of Foreign Affairs to Ghanaian traders and businesses urged full compliance to avoid sanction. We'll hear more of what the statement contains with Michael Ashali with me in studio. Michael, what has necessitated this ban?
Well, Mami, you would recall that in 2023, December, Burkina Faso announced export restrictions, citing concerns over food sufficiency amid challenging climatic conditions affecting agricultural output. This is reiterated in this new statement, which states that the restriction aims to safeguard Burkina Faso's domestic food security amid regional concerns over grain shortages and rising prices. So this is an extension of the ban.
Which specific cereals are we talking about?
Well, key staples include rice, millet, maize, sorghum, and cowpeas.
All right. And what is likely the impact aside of this ban, aside price hikes?
Well, market analysts have weighed in, noting the restriction could have ripple effects on the country's food security, particularly for industries reliant on imported grains and beans. To avoid a possible short supply, the local traders, especially those operating along the border regions, have been urged to seek alternative sources or adjust supply chains to mitigate the impact.
Thank you so much, Michael. Now, former Deputy Foreign Affairs Minister Charles Oredu has called on the government to engage directly with embassies to address the mistreatment of Ghanaian visa applicants. This comes after the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, in a statement to the media, announced that it had issued an official communique urging all embassies and high commissions in Ghana to ensure fair and humane treatment of applicants at their missions. Here are excerpts of the order read by Samuel Kujobrace.
Says the Ministry of Foreign Affairs has engaged embassies and high commissions on the numerous complaints by the public on how Ghanaian citizens are treated when they visit foreign missions in Ghana for visa applications. The complaints cover issues such as not providing conducive waiting areas, non-availability of emergency services, and also other complaints that have been cited, including long waiting times for appointment date, as well as challenges in issuing visa application websites. The ministry says to address these concerns, the ministry has dispatched a note verbal to all embassies and high commissions, urging them to put in place appropriate and humane conditions at their embassies, high commissions, and visa centers. It is the ministry's expectation that foreign missions will respond positively and appropriately to the request.
Well, on the back of that, former Deputy Foreign Affairs Minister Charles Oredu raised concerns that the ministry's communique to the embassies may be easily disregarded.
So our strategy was engagement. Because if you look at what the minister just said, the minister issued a note verbal. And issuing a note verbal doesn't solve this challenge or this problem, because like we all know, the Vienna Convention protects embassies and then consular activities. They are inviolable. You can't just go there and then do whatever pleases you. So best approach to me should have been engagement. Engage the main players in this matter. Issuing a note verbal to all these embassies, to me, it doesn't solve the problem.
Do you feel that the foreign embassies would treat this note verbal with all the seriousness, knowing very well that these are, countries that are sovereign?
I doubt it. They'll just put it somewhere. Like I said earlier, the best approach, the best strategy to me was to have, gotten the minister to engage them.
And you heard the former Deputy Foreign Affairs Minister Charles Oredo speaking on Joy News Prime. Now we go to the trends and Lois Shola Adeyemi. Hey, Omo Shola. I'm so sorry. I hope I didn't butcher your name too much.
It's okay. It's fine.
So what's in the trends?
So we are still in the vetting season.
Indeed.
And yesterday was John Dumelo's 10. There's something that is not really sitting well with the netizens, especially when Honorable Habib said that now that he's about to enter into the ministry, he should take things seriously because he's no longer acting. Well, the creatives do not like that because we take our creativity very seriously.
Very seriously.
So to hear this, it actually didn't impress them at all. They were not happy. We have sound. Take a listen to what he said.
Also note that when you go to the ministry, you are not in your movie industry as you are. Try to be as serious as you can so that you can be able to assist your minister to succeed.
Did that infer that the entertainment industry is not serious?
I mean, that's what people are saying.
Let's hear some of their remarks.
Well, someone says that, how can you say that we are creative, we are happy, and we are proud? If you do not want that, go and sleep. Someone also says that this minister doesn't think that creative art is important, and that is a shame. He's telling us in the wrong way. So,
that's very, very unfortunate. Well, on that note, we bring the bulletin to an end this afternoon. I am Maame Esi Thompson. Up next is Living Word with Pastor Mensa Otabil.
Are you ready to get way more chances to win with Betway? Every single day, you have the key to unlock 5 free spins on Mega Money Wheel, where you stand to win a massive 1 million Ghana cedis jackpot. All you need to do is to log in and take your spin. Exclusive to Betway. Terms and conditions apply. Regulated by the Gaming Commission of Ghana. Bet the responsible way. Betway. Get way more.
Upgrades are nice, but stepping up is woohoo! Because when you upgrade with GoTV, we'll step you up to the next package. Upgrade today to get more than more with Step Up, where if you're on GoTV Plus and upgrade to GoTV Max, you'll get even more with GoTV Super. Get big value, get big entertainment, get stepped up to even more with GoTV. Upgrade today on the My GoTV app or visit GoTVAfrica.com. Terms and conditions apply. Offer ends 31 March 2025.
Wear a condom for sex and protect yourself from HIV. HIV has no cure, no condom, no sex. This message is brought to you by the Ghana AIDS Commission.
Hello, Auntie. Samilo Paki. Eyasrongo. Mihu support energy release. Bamoso.
Annual support energy release. Trese. Who the Milo kawo mano peduano hua. Umo hoden a eboa bomo homoden suronku school.
Penua mami.
Won kunim de fu ya aduano ni amoden. Familo amoden ka won aduane ho. Afi, Milo vitamin D a ebo energy release. Kibo won debia da edumaye. Milo amoden amode be kokai. Milo. FDA ati edwedie kratoi atumu.
Bringing hope to many around the globe, transforming lives into legacies. Living Word with Pastor Mensa Otabil.
Coming up in March 2025, Doulos, a global pastors and church leaders conference designed to inspire and equip leaders to serve Christ and His church. Learn from our seasoned speakers, Sam Chand, church leadership consultant and change strategist; Andre Olivier, senior pastor, Rivers Church, South Africa; Sam Adeyemi, leadership expert and senior pastor, Daystar Christian Center, Nigeria; Ransford Obi, general overseer, Calvary Charismatic Center, CCC, Kumasi; and your host, Mensa Otabil, General Overseer of International Central Gospel Church, ICGC. From pastors to church leaders, workers and volunteers, this is a space for everyone passionate about advancing God's kingdom. Date, March 4th to 6th. Morning sessions, 8 a.m. Evening sessions, 6 p.m. This conference is more than a gathering. It's a movement to raise up servant-hearted leaders for Christ. Register today at centralgospel.com/doulos and secure your place in this unforgettable experience. Doulos Conference 2025, serving Christ and His church.
And now, today's word.
What God uses. What God uses. And this is part one of what God uses. And my subtitle is The Jawbone of a Donkey. The Jawbone of a Donkey. We are exploring the things that God, in His wisdom, chooses to use. When you read the Bible, and I suppose you all read the Bible one way or the other, we see God's sovereignty in what He uses and whom He uses. And in this message, in this series, we're going to look at some of the unusual things that God uses to serve His purpose. And we'll look at some stories in the Bible that illustrate that point. And today's lesson is about Samson. One of those very unusual characters in the Bible, a man of conflicted personality, but still used by God. Sometimes you look at some people and wonder why God uses them, but He just uses them. Samson does the extremes of everything, and sometimes you just wish God will abandon him, but God still uses him. And we're going to look at an encounter that Samson had, and the instrument that God gave him to fight in that battle, just for us to learn about the things that God uses, so you don't despise the thing in your hand, because sometimes what God puts in your hand may not look like much, but it is all that is needed for Him to give you what He has promised to give you. And in the passage that we are about to read, Samson is in trouble again. Now, if you know anything about Samson, he gets into trouble very, very frequently. He's a very strong man, very lyrical, poetic, very shrewd, and very daring. And so he would go where people would not go and do things that people ordinarily think twice before they do. But because of probably his sense of confidence, he would just do crazy things. So he's in trouble again. Samson in chapter 4 of the 14 of Judges, don't turn to it now, I'm just giving you a background. Chapter 14, Samson loses a riddle context, and when he loses it, he has to, because he's going to marry a Philistine woman, and he gives the people a riddle, and you know, somehow they solve it by using the woman. And so Samson has to pay a bride price, and the bride price is for him to get 30 choice clothing. And so he goes out, fights 30 people, beats them up, takes their dresses, and pays the bride price. In chapter 15, Samson, after doing all that hard work to get his bride, he's now going to visit his wife, who is a Philistine, whom he's not supposed to marry anyway, but he's going to visit his wife. And when he goes to his wife, he realizes that after all the job that he has done to get that woman, the woman's father has given him to another man. So Samson gets very angry with the Philistines for cheating him of his wife, so he gets 300 foxes, ties their tails together, puts fire in their tails, and burns their farm. This guy is quite a crazy guy. He's not somebody you want around you most of the time. So the Philistines retaliate. They kill the woman and the parents, and Samson retaliates, avenges again, and attacks a camp of the Philistines and routs them, and then runs to the tribe of Judah to hide. The Philistines come and ask the people of Judah to deliver Samson to them, or else they will attack Judah. So the people of Judah, being the Ghanaians that they are, took Samson